Hi guys, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your astrology for April. So I'm trying to figure out all different ways to make these videos a little bit more efficient, time efficient for you, for me, for everybody. So what I decided to do was create kind of an overall astrology video, pre-record it before every video. So that way, if you watch multiple videos, you can kind of just fast forward through that. There'll be timestamps below and within the comment of every reading. So I'll make sure to get the timestamps in. That way you don't have to watch this 12 different times and I don't have to say it 12 different times, which makes me super excited. So really cool stuff for April. I feel like this is a month I've been saying there's gonna be a good month. I swear, in all of these, really dense and heavy months we've had for over a year now, everything has seemed very heavy. And April's gonna come in and it's gonna be like shot out like a cannon, okay? I'm picking up elements of like that northern hemisphere spring fever kind of stuff. Now, as I'm recording this, there's actually stuff going down with the spring breakers in Florida, and I think that kind of talks about the overall energy for April. Everybody gets to be let loose. There's a lot going on with the vaccines, so everybody's feeling a little bit more confident about stepping out socially. It's kind of like a purge. Now we've got so much action from Venus as she's starting this new cycle, which she's doing right now along with this entire last week of March. And she's really going to culminate with these moons on the Aries Libra axis this month. We're stepping into a lot of cardinal energy and we're bringing back the cardinal squares. It's a little bit of a tense time, but really in a good way. So Venus this month is kind of resetting our values and our priorities, right? But it's much deeper than the wanting. I feel like all year we've all been kind of like having ideas, or like, oh, I didn't realize I kind of really do like this thing over here. I would be interested in doing this thing over here. But now it's actually in the way that you feel. So if you're in jobs or relationships or any type of situation that isn't really speaking to you, it's going to get uncomfortable now. The universe is going to make you uncomfortable now. Pluto steps in this month and he really wreaks some havoc on our values, on our ambition, our relationships, and he questions, are we in the right place? And he teaches a lot of lessons and he's very intense. So there's all this flirty, fun energy. There's a lot of possibilities to meet some really profound people in our lives this month. We're working intensely with the nodes, so it's a very karmic month as well. And we have this dance all in the same sign. These planets are so active and there's so many aspects, and yet nothing that's, super heavy. Like I said, there's a lightness, there's a quickness to this month. Things are going to move very quickly. So going through the month, we're starting out with the Venus sextile Mars, which is going to give you that feeling like you're ready to get back out in the world. There's something that's very confident, very sexy about this Venus sextiling Mars. It's very flirty, it's very communicative, it's very expressive, and it's very courageous. If you are looking to date or start new relationships, it's a really good month for the dating profiles, okay? Towards the end of the month, we've got some Sun, Uranus, Venus, Uranus aspects coming in, which literally can translate into meeting people over the internet. So it's kind of a good time. And not even just dating, but even if you're getting into like specialized groups or groups that kind of hone in on your interests, you could have a lot of luck meeting other people, like-minded people, people that kind of vibe on your level. They enjoy your stuff. It's kind of almost a resetting of the tribes in a way. So expect to meet new people. Invite that energy into your life. Now on the 9th, we've got Mars square Neptune, and this is a little bit of a hairy part of the month. There's an element of dishonesty, and it could even lead to disappointment, and this could be where we put some really high expectations on things, on people, and we get pretty disappointed. And it's okay, because the thing is, we're really learning to be, independent on our own and not searching for things within others. Now, we have Pluto going retrograde at the end of the month. So all month long, all planets are moving forward, full steam ahead. But when Pluto hits that point, it means we've got to reset psychologically. So you can expect April to bring in the situations that makes us feel the need to self-analyze. And this Mars square Neptune is going to kind of lead up to that self-analyzation. What are some of your bad habits? Because in April, you're going to want to jump into things. So if you're somebody who just kind of jumps into love, then you could probably expect some harsher lessons. People don't turn out to be who they said they would be. Jobs don't turn out to pay what they said they would pay. Things aren't going to meet your expectation. It's also a time where you could slip into some pretty negative thought patterns. There could be some paranoia that comes up, having an issue trusting people, misjudging situations. There could really honestly just be innocent miscommunications as well. So take a look at that energy. Again, it's going to be things that later on in the month you're going to really want to look at. Why do I do this thing? If you're somebody like, for example, you're dating and you tend to ghost people, obviously it's because there's something within you that makes you feel like you can't communicate your feelings. So you might be in a situation where you ghost somebody or somebody ghosts you, and you really have to look into why these situations are a recurring pattern in your life. Just, a random example. That's how that energy will play out. So then we roll into the 10th, and we've got Venus sextile Jupiter, and this is like one of the sexiest days of the year. If there is an opportunity to go on vacation, go out of town for the weekend with your partner or your friends, do it now. It could definitely talk about overindulgence. So, if you've been working really hard at paying down debt, this will be kind of the weekend where you're like, well, screw it, let's fly to Florida for the weekend and really rack up those bills again. So you want to be careful of that. You want to be careful of any kind of overindulgence, especially because we're still in that energy of Mars square Neptune. So careful about the people that you meet. Don't trust people that you don't know, okay? Kind of look out for your drinks, keep yourself safe. Again, it feels sexy, it looks good, there's like a serious attraction, and yet it could disappoint us in the end. So just remember to love yourself and make good, safe decisions. We're rolling into the new moon now, mid-month, 22 degrees Aries. This is on the world point. I expect this to be kind of one of the bigger moons that plays out collectively. You're going to see a lot of action collectively as well. Probably not huge mind-blowing events, although the moons can bring that in. But like a lot of fast information, situations changing, the story changing, like this is true, no, that is true. Remember, we're in Gemini energy, so most likely both sides of the story are kind of true. If you recall back in last May, Venus was traveling through Gemini and she went retrograde. And I remember thinking to myself, when we're in Gemini energy, which I have a hard time with because I'm all earth and water, so the air energies are a little bit tricky for me. So I always try to remember the Tao at that time, like everything's about being balanced. Try not to feel too much, try not to get too invested, stay in the middle and remain calm. And so as this year rolled on, the nodes are in Gemini now. Mars is in Gemini. It's meeting the North Node. It's definitely a good time to keep that information in mind. It's always best, you know what's best. Separate from self, protect your energy when you have to, and trust your gut, trust your instinct, This new moon in Aries is all about trusting our instincts. Trusting, even when we're in bad situations, bad relationships, we're in bad jobs, some people tend to stay in that discomfort for a long time. That discomfort becomes their comfort. Anything that's familiar, we can get stuck in. Now, March had a lot of trine energy, and sometimes I think about that trine as where we build ruts. Well, we follow the path of least resistance, and the path of least resistance is just doing the same thing I always do. If I can avoid change and everything stays the same, then I don't have to deal with the drama. Okay, great, but then if you're not particularly happy with your life, you actually have to take action to change it. So March was kind of like here's your ruts, here's where you're stuck. And April comes in and it throws a bunch of sextiles, a bunch of squares at us all month long. Boom, 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 every day. And it's like opportunity, something that needs to be broken through. Opportunity, breakthrough. Opportunity, breakthrough. And if you look at every situation that comes up this month as, okay, I'm not going to take it too hard on myself. I'm not going to beat myself up over this. I learned from it and move forward. If you're honest, if you communicate, you could probably skate through this month and really enjoy some of the nice opportunistic stuff that comes your way. If you get stuck in the rut, if you put your feet, if you really dig your feet in and refuse to learn the lesson, or, if you get an energy of refusing to say you're sorry, or refusing to discuss anything or talk about things, again, you're going to stay in that rut. You're going to stay in that rut as long as you want. Again, it's a karmic month, making karmic decisions. There is an element here of the things that you choose in April are pretty long term, especially the end of April. So we're rolling into these new phases. We're rolling into the new us. And ultimately, in this Aries energy, we really know what's best. We know at a soul level, and by that we start to actually repel some of the things that we may have attracted to ourselves in a lower vibration. Again, if you're dating people or in jobs where you're really unhappy and the energy is toxic, what you found tolerable will completely become intolerable. Like, you cannot stay there. This universe is making you super, super uncomfortable. Now, middle of the month, we roll into some Pluto energy. We've got Venus square Pluto, then the Sun square Pluto, and then Mercury square Pluto. Okay, a lot of energy into the transformation. Pluto's still hanging out at the end of Capricorn. We've been going through this for a couple years. This is stuff that's lingering from 2020. It's things about the structures in our lives that need to change, and the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all making this square to Pluto are going to make them really apparent. Okay, this is the ruts, or this is why you stay in the ruts. If there are issues like self-worth issues, obsessive thinking issues, and Pluto can bring about like some pretty intense and fatal attractions as well, especially Venus square Pluto, I always call my fatal attraction. It can really point to how you are, and even with finances, those bad habits, those mistakes you keep making, think about Capricorn, you think about Pluto, and I think the Devil card, and it's like those things that call to us, that thing that says, yeah, but you could just buy one more shopping spree, or have one more bottle of wine, or, one more night out. And it's always that voice that whispers, go ahead, you could do one more time. And it's really an area of ourselves psychologically that's holding ourselves stuck in these patterns. We have to start looking at them, and we have to start changing them. We have to start acknowledging them. At the same time, we've got Venus making connection with Chiron, so we're in this super healing energy. The things that you figure out, the things that bubble to the surface, the underlying control issues within your life, A lot of things can have control over us. It doesn't necessarily have to be people. You know, it could be an abusive relationship. It could be a sexual relationship that you stay in even though it's really not meeting any of your emotional needs. It's where you sell yourself short and you get stuck in the bad habits and you think too little of yourself to make the big changes so that your life can actually improve. There's no doubt we're going to be moving towards the better things, the healthier choices. So right now, the universe is going to point out all of the negative habits that we have. We have got to meet them head on. And again, a reminder that Venus in Aries is going to say, this time I'm going to value myself. So maybe you made decisions in the past where you kind of didn't stand up for yourself or you didn't want to create a confrontation. You know, Aries, Venus in Aries, no, there'll be a confrontation, no problem. It could even get really explosive. I'm going to tell everybody, watch your tempers mid-month. Watch the way that you talk to people. Watch the things that you say. This energy can kind of make you say things you really will regret, like the things that you can't take back. Yeah, it's an intense part of the month. It can also be really intense in a good way. If you are meeting somebody new in the middle of the month, please be careful, okay? Again, we're still in that Mars square Neptune. Got the nodes squaring Neptune. You got to trust your gut instincts, not other people, okay? You could honestly meet people that are very powerful or kind of use their power negatively. People that are very manipulative, people that could hurt you financially, hurt you sexually. So you just want to be aware of those situations. You could meet somebody, there could be a really intense attraction, and then it could turn out to be, like a crazy Lifetime movie. So just be careful of that energy. Moving on into the middle of the month, we've got the Sun conjunct Mercury at 29 degrees. This gets really interesting. Not usually a big deal. The Sun makes a cazimi with Mercury multiple times a year. They travel very close. It's the degree that I find particularly unsteady. So at 29 degrees, Aries is, or was, for example, in America, the day that the Capitol was breached. It has that explosive, bubbling up energy. And because it's so close to all of this Pluto energy, you want to be careful of your surroundings, okay? This could be some kind of out of control, anger, rebellion kind of thing that we've got going on. And that starts around the 20th and it moves through the end of the month. So, you probably expect some sort of civil unrest. You could probably expect some kind of, protesting. Be careful in your neighborhoods. Just be careful of your surroundings. Sun conjunct Mercury at 29 degrees Aries also, in our personal lives is a great opportunity for you to really stand up for yourself. So if you're in negative relationships, in abusive partnerships, in jobs that take advantage of you, you're going to have the strength to say it. You're going to have the strength to change your environment here. So take advantage. This is just a starting point. We've got Venus conjunct Uranus, which brings sudden changes in, relationships and money. Now, this is kind of one of the times that Venus met Uranus in the sky was when that Robin Hood thing happened. So you could kind of expect something else like that. Now, it might just be a continuation of that story. We get a little bit more or something more happens in the stock market, but usually it's something collectively within the economy or, finances. So Venus conjunct Uranus in our personal lives is, meeting somebody out of the blue, breaking up relationships, it's sudden events like that you can't possibly predict, like a house catching on fire or, car accident. So, and I don't say that to scare anybody, but these are things that happen in our lives that in a split moment can change everything. And I think we're dealing with a lot of big decisions. And it's like that split moment when you make that decision that changes everything. It doesn't have to be scary. Sometimes Uranus brings some very positive developments. It could also represent with the Pluto energy transformation instantly with money. So, luck, gambling, winning the lottery, things that transform your life forever. So then at the end of the month, we have Venus square Saturn, and this can carry an element of isolation and loneliness. I am kind of leery of something happening where we kind of have to shut back down. I don't see it being a long stint, but there might be a pullback of energy. Now, the Venus square Saturn is the pulling back. So if you've had a crazy April, you went on vacation, you spent a lot of money, you bought new clothes, because God knows we've all been like in our sweatpants for a year. So it's kind of exciting to go out and buy new clothes, right? And have plans and go and see people, meet people and date. Like, that's fun. And then like the credit card bill comes and on the 25th, 26th with that full moon, 7 degrees Scorpio, again, another financial placement, another world point, ironically. Again, more financial developments. Of course, Venus is going to move, her way into some pretty crazy transits in the next few months. So you can expect stuff with the economy to really be unstable. Remember, if you want to keep a leg up on things, get some money in savings. Be careful with your money. Be careful with your investments. I know it's fun and we all deserve to have a good time this month, but there is always consequences. And when Pluto goes retrograde at the end of the month, like I said, that's a credit card bill. That's the consequences. So you can expect that to come in. And then there's like the reconciling with that full moon. In Scorpio, it's intense and it's deeply rooted. And whenever we have moons coming up in any of the fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, or Scorpio, you can expect some more big changes. This is the element. Again, everything was in Aquarius when the Capitol was breached, and that kind of changed everything forever. So, guys, we're in such an element of change. It's really important for me to point out, I know a lot of us are like, all right, I'm ready. I'm really ready for life to take off. I'm ready for these things to happen. And I think it's really important to understand that there's like not a lot you can do right now. Pluto's making all of these squares. You really don't have control. The universe has control. It's really, if you've been manifesting, if you've been doing the work, this is where you're like, all right, I have faith. The universe is going to bring it in. The Hierophant card, Taurus card, and you have faith and it works. But if you've got a lot of deep-rooted doubts, self-worth, value issues, lessons that you have to learn, guys, we're not in an element of settling. Uranus will not let us settle for any of the things that we settled for in the past. We're changing and we have to allow the changes to come in. So it's a really beautiful month, guys. It's super exciting. Just be careful and take care of you. Most important this month. Know your surroundings and take care of yourself. All right, guys, let's get started on the cards. I'm working on your cards. Welcome to your cards for April, by the way. It's very early in the morning. I recently, and maybe you're going through something similar. I am a Virgo as well. Sixth house, Saturn, Jupiter. There's a lot going on within my routines, my daily routines. So I find myself waking up like really, really early lately. Like I'm getting up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and by 6 or 7, I'm getting a little bit tired and kind of still getting used to the schedule, getting used to the new stuff. I'm looking at these cards, Virgo. I'm looking at your aspects for the month, and I think it's going to be a lot better than maybe what you're thinking. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind is procrastination. Virgo is not really one to procrastinate out of like laziness or inefficiency. Like, that would never happen. Virgo is more likely to pay attention to the minute daily details in avoidance of the bigger things. Bigger things meaning there's a flow with Virgo. It's a very special creative place, and you know, it's easy to kind of make fun of this or make jokes about like the environment needing to be tidy and clean and, you know, whatever. It's about clearing space. And for Virgo, because we are so analytical, because we are compartmentalizing everything on a minute-to-minute basis, our mind is constantly running, and it's running with the best of intentions. How do we fix this? How do we make this better? How do we improve this? And it's easy to sometimes focus on things that aren't even in your control, or things that most people think don't matter. But there's also an intelligence to that, and there's also ultimately a knowing and understanding of timing. And that's what makes Virgo so magical and so pure. You know, the connection, understanding that Virgo is the opposite of Pisces energy, and we've got a lot of Pisces Neptune aspects going on as I'm shooting this. There's a direct connection to the other side, the veil is very thin for Virgo in terms of Virgos get there by a matter of virtue, by doing the right things. And sometimes you are drawn to the little things in life that you can do that make you efficient and useful as the universe is working on the timing of things. And there's a knowing, because you are so connected. There's a knowing what to do and how to proceed. So I'm really loving the energy that you're coming out in this month is the Page of Earth. Now, this is beautiful, grounded, practical energy. It's not the most mature, but I don't think that this is coming from a place of immaturity. I think this is coming from the new. I think in a lot of ways over the past couple of months, and especially coming through with this Libra full moon that just hit us last weekend, there's a resetting of Virgo's values. Virgos spend a lot of time putting value in other people, making other people shine. And I think something's happened over the past couple of months and the past couple of years, or all of the, comprehensive outlook on all of the things that have happened, because we're resetting so many cycles, 40-year cycles, 20-year cycles, 12-year cycles, 9-year Venus cycles. These are big deals. There's definitely the element of stepping into the new life for every single sign. And for Virgo, it comes from a place of how we serve ourselves now. And the Page of Pentacles is kind of that idea of, okay, I'm open. Okay, I'm willing to plant some new seeds. I'm willing to do things a little differently. I'm willing to adjust that daily routine. I'm willing to learn new things that could help with my health and overall well-being. Now, this Page of Coins is repeated twice, first card out. Page of Coins. There's no doubt in my mind that there's a reset, doing things a different way this time. Now, I like this particular Page of Pentacles. Both of them are very interesting, because this one, I always, when they portray in the cards kind of a crown or antlers coming from the head, I always think of inspiration. Now, we have a lot of that repeated in your reading, this divine inspiration, this connection to the other side. We are getting ready for we've just had this major aspect with Mercury conjunct Neptune, finishing up in the last degrees of Pisces energy. And this is all just a preparation for what it's going to look like when Jupiter moves into Pisces, your 7th house, how you relate to others. So there's no doubt that there had to be a reset, because the universe isn't going to keep it's not going to let us keep doing the same thing over and over again. Can't keep getting into these cycles. We can't keep doing the same things. We're sabotaging our own timing. And I think this Page of Swords, or this Page of Coins here, this woman in this card is taking that enlightenment, that idea that, okay, we could do things new. There's information coming in. There's teachers, there's friends, there's helpers. The Page of Coins here doesn't look all that excited. There's a feeling with her of almost like, yeah, I knew this was coming. Yeah, I knew we were going to have to start over. Yeah, I kind of saw this. Maybe there was some red flags you were ignoring. Like I said, procrastination of the inevitable. Now, I say inevitable because we have the Devil card right next to a card of Capricorn. Now we have Capricorn, Pluto, 6th house. And that's your 5th house. That's the ultimate change. And I think this has everything to do with Virgo kind of taking back their ability to enjoy life. Right next to the Devil card, we have the High Priestess. Another connection to the divine, another preparation of Jupiter moving into your 7th house. There are things that have to get done. There are things that have to be overcome. And because I see this Devil card here next to this Page of Coins, I feel like this is the empowerment. Quite simply, there are things you are doing, there are decisions that you are making that ultimately are clearing the path for something that you have no idea what's coming next. And the thing is that unknowing, that gray area, that idea that we just know we don't want to stay here, And if you're dealing with health issues, you don't want to keep feeling like this. If you're stuck in shitty relationships, you don't want to keep repeating this cycle. And some of you might actually be doing a lot of introspective work. 6th house can also talk to you about rituals and spirituality. Maybe some of you are making a point to meditate or to connect to the other side, pay attention to your dreams. Maybe some of you are looking into astrology. It's like trying to get a better understanding of what is happening. What are you learning? What is the Dharma? That's what that Capricorn Devil energy is. It's the karma. It's the Saturn cycles. Are you working on the things that you're supposed to be working on? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to be doing? This can't sit around in an energy of ignoring the red flags and thinking the best in people. You can't look at situations and say, yeah, but if I polish it up, if I make it pretty, if I fix this and I heal that in that other person, then it's going to be perfect. How many times are we going to do that? How many times are we going to see the potential in people and not pay attention to what and who they truly are? And I think that's always a slippery slope for Virgo. I think Virgo has so many pure intentions, and they truly want the best for people, and they truly believe in people. And it might be hard for Virgos to understand that other people have their own karma, their own path, their own learning lessons. And sometimes you're not able to save everybody. You can't put everybody in a bubble. People need to learn their lessons. And it's not a good month to be kind of working things out for other people. It's always good to be there for people. It's always good to be supportive. We have a month of really beautiful connections. Friendships, will be amazing and expansive for Virgo, opening up the social circle, enjoying your family, enjoying the things that you have and appreciating them. Now we've got a lot of 8th house, 9th house stuff going on, and I'm looking at this and it's like the transformation before the new life. There's a process here, and I think there's a process here, and there's really no point in rushing it. Now underneath this page of coins is the 5 of Swords, and 5 of Swords is very irritating. It's usually coming from an outside source. So you have the need to plant the seeds, to start the new things, to start paying attention to the things that Virgo wants to pay attention to. I myself have been going through a little bit of this, reconciling with what is my time, how do I want to spend my time, and I'm kind of in this element of really wanting to learn new things. I'm really determined to spend more time reading and learning and soaking up this knowledge in the spiritual part of my life, and maybe a little bit less time, in a social realm or in relationships. And this might be something that you're going through, like when you start to move to the new direction, and there might be some resistance. 5 of Swords is usually external and by means of conversation. So people might be saying, you're really going to do that now? You're really going to go there? You're really going to work there? You're really going to talk to them? And I just feel sometimes like this 5 of Swords is like a lot of irritating opinions. And maybe this is somebody who is impatient with your timing. Maybe this is somebody that's demanding that you make the big decision. And yet Virgo's kind of like, yeah, but, I'm still Page of Pentacles. I'm still weighing my options. I'm still looking at everything clearly. And it's not like you have this overall feeling like it's not time to make the big decision. Now I say that because underneath the 5 of Swords is the card of Gemini, the card of the Lovers, a big decision. Now next to this 5 of Swords is the Oracle card, Emotions Are Running High, Supermoon. Yeah, so you've got this full moon in your 2nd house, beginning of April. So for an entire month, we're kind of releasing the old ways of how we valued ourselves. It's our self-esteem, it's our finances, it's our security, it's our foundations. You might find that people are trying to chip away at your foundations. And this is going to really make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe the emotions aren't yours. Maybe it's just kind of other people in Virgo's element that's kind of spinning out of control. Maybe there's people in your life that are going through some pretty big stuff. Emotions are running high, and you're over here just trying to keep your stability, right? You're on wobbly legs. You're trying to make sure that you're strong, but you're being brave enough to step into the new things. And maybe there's outside elements that are kind of like, whoa, yeah, but did you think about this? And what are you going to do about that? And how is this going to work? And it gets a little bit overwhelming, and it could even lead to some more explosive situations. Now the second line is kind of the undeniable. We have the 5 of Swords, and the center of the reading, most important card, your energy, is the 9 of Coins. Right next to that is a Tower card. There seems to be something about this whole 9 of Coins energy that you are meant to embody. And I don't know if Virgo is fully excited about it. I'm not quite sure what the holdback is. But what typically happens if we have any resistance, which is usually caused by fear, And fear usually comes from a place of just not being able to know or gauge. There's no guarantees. You know, if you're leaving a relationship and then you're sitting there like, I have no idea what this new life's going to look like. You're leaving a job. You're like, yeah, but I really have like no idea what I really want to do. And you know you want to leave. You know you want to get out of it. You know you want that new thing. You know you want to just feel different. Yet there's structures in your life. There's people, there's situations in your life that have a lot of reasons why you should simply stay the same. Nine of Coins in between the Devil card and the Four of Swords is you really having to fight off the old structures, the old box that people put you in. Yeah, but Virgo's always like really reliable and really dependable, and they're always going to come through, and they always forgive because they're super compassionate people. And I just don't know if you have it in you, Virgo, to do the forgiving this month. This Tower card comes out right underneath the High Priestess. And I think you know the end is coming, and you don't really have to do anything. Maybe that's the reason for the procrastination. Maybe you're not saying or doing, maybe you're not making a big production out of it just simply because you know it's bound to happen anyways. Maybe for some of you, you're just going to kind of observe and let other people around you kind of create the scenario. And then you can kind of look at them and say, look, I've warned you 100 times. I can't tolerate this behavior. I can't accept this situation. And I'm not going to keep forgiving because I know you could do better. Because your idea of being able to do better and actually doing better may not be in the cards right now. And there's definitely a culmination coming. There's a lot of stuff coming towards you your way this year, Virgo. There's a lot of life-changing events. When I see a Tower card sandwiched in between the Priestess and the Moon, there's a pretty heavy element of surrender. Now we have this Lovers card, and right next to it we have the Oracle card, Stag Spirit, Take the Lead, card number 58. Card number 58, breaking down to a 4, is again another indication of the foundations. And yet this is another symbol of the kind of horns coming off the head. The thing is, you are lit up with your intuition, Virgo. And I'm not sure if the reality or the people or the situations around you are as clear as your intuition is. People are probably like, why is Virgo reacting like that? Why are they doing that? Why are they? And the truth is, because you know. Because you know that change is coming. Because you know that you have changed. Now I look at the transformation in the 8th house and the 9th house, and I see somebody who's stepping into their own self-worth. And I see somebody who's maybe seeing themselves for the first time. There's a lot of honesty in there. And sometimes the truth is, you want to correct and help and nurture the people around you because you don't want to address the things that need to be addressed within you. And I think that this card of the Lovers is all about the rebalancing of self. And it might involve taking a time out. It might involve doing some spiritual and intuitive work. It might involve a little bit of therapy or self-analysis in some way. It's probably a really good idea to kind of look into that stuff now. You know, astrology, for instance, is a fantastic tool. You kind of look at your aspects and you say, oh yeah, well, I do have this thing where I tend to, you know, carry relationships as far as they'll go, or merge into other people's lives and lose myself. And then every time a relationship ends, I have to go through this big dramatic path of refinding and reinventing myself. And I feel like the stag spirit is kind of like the whole idea of Venus through Aries, your 8th house, where you are taking your power back. And it's kind of like that breakthrough moment where you're like, wait a second, oh, but I create my own reality. Now, I know we hear that, we hear it 1,000 times. Like, the whole idea of manifestation is so overplayed. I honestly am tired of hearing about it, because I think there's a lot of people out there saying, yeah, but if you just believe, yeah, but if you just visualize, make a vision board, and that's just all it has to be. Well, it's not. That's not all it has to be. If it were that easy, we would all have the perfect lives. And the fact is, we're not meant to. Nothing's meant to be perfect. We're meant to work through things. We're meant to clear out decades and lifetimes worth of karma. And there's always going to be one area in your life where you get stuck. There's always going to be a couple areas in your life where you probably will repeat the same mistakes over and over. And so this is a light bulb moment where you're like, yeah, but I don't really want to do that anymore. You know, and I say that a lot. I've been saying that a lot in a lot of readings. A whole idea of, I don't want to do it that way anymore. The difference is, we're in the element, we are in the energy of not doing it that way anymore. And it happens on a cellular level. We are changing on a cellular level. And suddenly we're just not going to vibrate. And so the relationships that we kept pushing ourselves through, that we kept dragging along, just don't feel right. The attraction's gone. The need is gone. The guilt is gone. The dependence is gone. It's just all gone. Those parts do not exist in you anymore. And so the bad things that you got stuck in, the old thought processes, or the way that you thought that everything was always going to go, isn't going to go that way anymore. And typically, if you have people in your life that really truly need you to stay the same, that's when the 5 of Swords energy comes out. People feel when Virgos are pulling away. Virgo's energy is intense. I love the way Rick Levine describes Virgo as kind of, you know, you think of Virgo like a wallflower, like not really seen or heard. But when you have the attention and the love and the affection of a Virgo directly on you, it's magical. And it's kind of more of a one-on-one thing. You know, Virgos aren't really out there spreading that kind of energy to a ton of people. If you are somebody in Virgo's life that's special, and then the absence really does make itself known. And this might just be a lot of people trying to get you to stay the same, trying to get you to go down the same path, to follow the same road, not pull your energy back away from them. And ultimately, you're going to make the decision to head towards your higher being, because that is what's talking to you most. It might be hard to explain that to people. Yeah, but I'm going to go do that. Yeah, but how's that going to work out? Well, I don't know. I just have a good feeling about it. And people look at you like, what? Where's the guarantee? How do you know what's going to happen? And you're like, I don't, typically I want to take these strategic, smart, practical changes in my life, but this time it's just not really what it's about. And I think this time you're really dictating what the new thing is going to be. Now, what I love is the overwhelming message of taking some time off. And I think Virgo is going to go through a period of withdrawing from all of these situations, withdrawing from other people's need for them or need to control them in some way or make sure that they are available at all times. Because the last three cards, this whole row here, we've got the High Priestess, the Tower card, and the Moon card. This is a reset. This Tower card is something that comes in that says, nope, it's time for Virgo to take some time out. It's time for Virgo to get back to self. It's really important that we hone in on this Nine of Pentacles energy. And this is really overcoming any codependent ways. Any relationships in your life that are dependent and then manipulative. And I say that because your environment is that of the Magician. Now, in one way, because this is next to the High Priestess, in one way, I think that you are honing in on your manifestation skills, and you should be. Because by the end of April, when the Sun and Venus starts to move into Taurus, and Venus is just going to be like at her best for the entire year in Taurus. She's making trines to Pluto. We're really moving into this power energy, and in your 9th house, this is a reset. This is a reset. This is the new life, and it's envisioning it. And then Mars moves over from your 10th house into your 11th house, and you have the ambitions to really make your dreams come true. So it's really important that Virgo spends the time getting to know what is in their heart. What do they truly want? What are those dreams that they want to achieve? Now is the time to get these things right. But the Magician card can also mean that there's people in your element that are manipulating you, trying to keep you the same. Again, it's that whole idea of, we really need Virgo. Like, I don't know. Like, you never hear that enough. It's very hard to lose a Virgo in your life. There's an element of assistance, of never being alone, and there's just so much peace and harmony that you bring to other people's lives, and stability. There's such a high quality. So when you leave, people tend to want to grasp on. And in this energy, if you look at the collective, there's no doubt that fear is running the show. And we all feel fear, and we all try to grasp on to the things that we know. And you have to be careful not to slip into your old kind of comfort zones as well. Don't slip into old habits. Don't pick up that pack of cigarettes you haven't smoked in like 6 years. Don't start drinking that bottle of wine every night to kind of cope. It's really important right now. You have so many aspects of intuitive hits coming to you. Stay clear. Stay open. Let the universe talk to you. Let the universe manipulate the situation, not other people. It's really important that you kind of really have faith in the universe. Underneath that Magician card is a deep knowing. And this is a thing, 43 breaking down to a 7. Adjustments. Your overall energy. Adjustments. The Sun. What makes you happy? It's all being recreated now. And you know it, and you feel it. And those relationships that no longer serve you have to be allowed to fall away. This Magician card is kind of you repelling that. If anyone's trying to manipulate a Virgo or try to get them to stay in a situation they no longer feel they want to be in, it's not going to happen. It's literally going to repel your energy. You're going to feel it. It's actually going to almost like nauseate you if somebody tries to come at you and manipulate you or come at you with, like all the reasons why you need them. And you're like, yeah, that's not really the case. It's a resetting of your self-worth. And when you know your worth, you know how precious that energy and attention is. And then you start to get really discerning over who deserves it. And right now, the person that needs it the most is you. It's time to pay attention to you, Virgo. It's time to pay attention to what you want to create next. And the thing is, believe it or not, Moon card underneath the Tower is an absolute promise that the good thing's coming. There are surprises, and it doesn't even feel negative. It feels almost magical. If you allow it, if you believe that you deserve, and you clear and you make the space for new things to come in, the beautiful things will come. They will flow. But you got to make the space. You absolutely have to make the space. Your time, Virgo, is so important this month. Your health, your mental health, your physical health, taking care of you, feeding your body. Even if you have never done yoga before, get down on the floor and do some stretches. Just feel the flow as you start to open up the chakras in your system, and feel into your body and how your body is connected to your mental well-being, which is connected to your soul well-being. And when all of that is clear, there's a promise of clarity. When you remove everybody else's needs and opinions, there lies your clarity. Right next to this Moon card is the Oracle card of Trust. When love is invited to take over, right actions arise at the right time. Allow me, dear Divine, to wait patiently until the timing is right. Let me rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown. Guys, rest in the unknown. It's okay to not know what's happening next. It's okay to just do what you need to do to feel good this month. Protect yourself. All right, Virgo, that was a really powerful reading, and I have a feeling Virgos are coming up on a really powerful summer. Powerful, beautiful alignment is headed your way. So don't be too hard on yourself this month. We're just breaking through. All right, guys. Have a wonderful April. I will see you again very soon. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.